We were wondering whether or not you would be good for on camera.
Really?
I know, I was so surprised too.
I got a promotion.
Oh my God! Let's go celebrate!
Woo! I'm Allison.
I'm Ben. Do we have sex?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hello.
Hi, this is Allison. I don't know if you remember me. I have something I really need to tell you. I'm pregnant.
Yeah, I know we didn't plan this, but I'm on board. Yay!
But it doesn't last 22 minutes.
Lasts forever.
I shouldn't have gone in there.
Knocked Up.
A young woman named Allison Scott wakes up at 7 in the morning as usual. Debbie, Allison's sister, and her husband Pete already have children. Since both spouses are busy today, there is no one to watch their daughters. Allison offered her help. She is not good at communicating with children because she doesn't have her own. The younger of the sisters started crying, and Allison was completely at a loss. Meanwhile, Ben Stone, a frivolous lazy guy, spends time with his friends. They talk about women and other idle topics. None of them give the impression of being a serious person. Allison is a successful journalist. Her days are scheduled by the minute. Suddenly the boss called her to the office and announced her promotion. However, to look good on camera, Allison must go to the gym and get in shape.
We don't want you to lose weight. We just want you to be healthy.
Okay.
At home, she immediately shared the good news with Debbie and Pete, who were very happy for her. The women went to celebrate this event at the club. Ben and his friends were here too. Debbie is worried about her age. She thinks she is no longer attractive to men. To calm her sister down, Allison went to get some drinks. At the bar, she met Ben. He offered her a drink. They chatted nicely. Allison returned to their table, while Ben couldn't take his eyes off her. He was determined to get to know Allison better. The guys struck up a conversation with the girls. Suddenly Debbie received a call from her husband, who said that their daughter had chicken pox. Debbie had to leave much earlier than she had planned. Allison decided to stay. She danced and drank with Ben all night, telling him about her work. At some point, Allison offered the new friend go over to her place to have some fun. Without wasting any time, they indulged in passion. In the morning, looking at Ben, Allison realized that he was not as handsome as he seemed at night. She woke him up and said that it was time for her to go to work. Ben asked Allison to have breakfast with him. She decided to agree, and they went to a cafe. Allison felt uncomfortable because Ben turned out to be a completely tactless guy who didn't take life seriously. Allison is excited because today she has her first interview with a TV series star. It turned out that Ben doesn't have a steady job. He rents an apartment with friends. They develop an entertainment website together. Of course, Allison was not interested in this. After giving her card to Ben, who didn't even have a cell phone, she left in a hurry. Later, Allison told her sister that the night was a mistake. She wants to forget it like a bad dream. 8 weeks passed. While interviewing a popular actor, Allison suddenly felt sick and vomited during the shoot. She was embarrassed by the incident and didn't understand what was happening to her. The woman did not get better, so a colleague suggested that she was pregnant. Allison had no idea what to do next. That prospect horrified Allison, especially since the potential father was Ben.
Oh, God.
Debbie urgently took her sister to a store to buy pregnancy tests. All the tests turned out to be positive. Allison has no idea what to do now. Debbie suggested that she tell Ben. Finding out that Ben didn't even have a phone, Debbie couldn't believe it. Allison found the guy's website and sent Ben an email message. Meanwhile, he was having fun with his friends as usual. When the message from Allison arrived, the guys thought she wanted to go on a date with Ben again and sent her their home phone number. Allison arranged to meet Ben tomorrow. Thinking that she wanted to have fun again, he agreed without a second thought. The next evening they met at the restaurant as planned. Ben talked nonstop about all sorts of nonsense. Before telling him about the pregnancy, Allison wanted to get to know the baby's father better. It turned out that Ben had no income, and the website was not generating any revenue yet. Finally, Allison gathered her courage and told Ben that he was going to be a father soon. Of course, the guy was not happy with the news and didn't know what to do next. Allison offered him go to the doctor together next week. Ben agreed, still hoping that the tests were false. Allison was examined by Debbie's gynecologist. Ben was present during the exam, feeling very uncomfortable. The doctor confirmed the pregnancy. The due date was 8 weeks. Both Allison and Ben were deeply shocked. Allison couldn't take it and burst into tears, not knowing what she was going to do. That evening, Ben told his friends this terrible news. They wondered how he could have messed up so badly. Jonah believes he should have solved this problem before it's too late, while Jay thinks Ben must take responsibility. Allison shared the news with her mother, who does not support the daughter's decision to have a baby, as it would mean the end of her career. Allison intends to keep her condition hidden from colleagues for as long as possible. Ben's father, on the other hand, was excited about becoming a grandfather. In his opinion, a child is happiness. However, Ben doesn't feel happy at all right now. In the evening, Allison called him saying she had made the decision to give birth. Ben tried to support her and promised not to abandon, although in reality he was panicked. Allison couldn't hold back her tears and thanked Ben for his kind words. They agreed to meet to discuss their future together. Soon Allison came to Ben's apartment, where he was living with his friends. It was obvious that these guys didn't think about anything in their lives except for entertainment. The couple went to a restaurant. Allison confessed to Ben that she didn't plan on having a child in the next 10 years, but fate had decided otherwise. They went together to a baby store and bought pregnancy guides. Maybe things weren't as scary as they had initially thought. Meanwhile, Debbie discusses the situation with Pete. Debbie said she would support her sister in any case. Allison suggests that Ben get to know each other better. For the sake of the baby, they will have to learn to build a family life together. Both are very worried. In the morning, Ben had breakfast with Allison's family. Debbie and Pete's eldest daughter was shocked by the news of Allison's pregnancy. The girl believes that before having children, adults should get married. During the day, Ben was playing with Debbie's daughters. She thinks this guy is hopeless. At 23, he looks 33, and he's also overweight. Despite everything, Allison wants to give Ben a chance. Later, Pete told Ben what it means to be a father. According to Pete, it's a lot of hard work. With the birth of a child, life changes completely, so Ben will have to grow up. Ben told his friends that he urgently needed money, so they had to launch the website as soon as possible. The guys had been preparing for this all year. Ben is driving Allison in his old car. The girl tries to get used to her new boyfriend. She definitely likes his jokes. Now Ben regularly accompanies Allison to the doctor and the gym to support her. He no longer hangs out with his friends, spending time with his beloved. The couple found a doctor who will deliver the baby. It was the 16th week of pregnancy. One of Allison's colleagues noticed that her belly had grown. She still hadn't dared to tell her boss about it, realizing that it could harm her career. Ben is observing a family quarrel between Debbie and Pete, hoping he doesn't have the same thing with Allison. The couple went to the baby store to choose a crib for their child. When Ben saw the prices, he was shocked. Debbie volunteered to buy the crib as a gift for her nephew-to-be.
Wanna buy me some new shoes? What else can I squeeze out?
On the street, Allison met her friends. Ben blabbed about her pregnancy. The guy realized she didn't like it and thought the problem was that he hadn't married her yet. Pete told that he married Debbie right after she got pregnant. Ben also learned from Pete that their website idea was not new, and a similar one already existed. The guys were very upset because it meant they had wasted a year. Now they needed to come up with something new or make their website even better than the competition. Ben asked Allison to marry him and confessed his love, but he didn't have the money for a ring yet. He promised to give her the ring she deserved soon. Allison didn't know what to answer. This is not at all how she imagined a relationship with a man, but she likes that Ben is trying for her. Allison also realized that she had feelings for Ben too. Allison told her sister what had happened. Debbie thinks Allison is in too much of a hurry and should get to know Ben better first. Debbie also shared her suspicions that the husband was cheating on her. Lately he had been staying late at work and not answering her calls. These suspicions seemed groundless to Allison. In her opinion, Pete is a decent man who is not capable of betrayal. However, Debbie didn't trust her husband and hacked into his email. Both couples had dinner at a restaurant. Allison admitted she hadn't told the boss about her pregnancy yet. Pete said that having kids often meant giving up personal plans for life. Ben agreed, saying that when he found out about Allison's pregnancy, he was scared and wished he could go back in time to prevent it. The guys said it as a joke, but their women didn't like it anyway. There was a small earthquake at night. Ben panicked so much that he forgot Allison was with him and ran outside. When it was all over, Allison realized that Ben could not be relied upon. He's too irresponsible and can't take care of her and the baby. While helping to clean up the mess in the house, Allison found out that Ben only had $117 left in his account. It was the 28th week of pregnancy. One day Allison called Ben and invited him to a family dinner. Debbie and Pete have been having problems in their marriage lately, so Allison wants to somehow fix the situation. Pete left early. Debbie and Allison followed him. Ben was forced to go with them. Debbie found this address in Pete's email and suspects his mistress lives here. But it turned out that baseball coaches gather here. Pete never told the wife about his hobby. Debbie is upset that her husband prefers to spend time with friends or alone rather than with the family. She said she doesn't want to see him in their home. Allison is angry with Ben for taking Pete's side. She is also angry that Ben doesn't earn money and doesn't try to change his attitude towards life. Unlike him, Allison has sacrificed a lot for the sake of the baby. She kicked him out of the car, unable to control her emotions. Later, Allison went to see a doctor. She didn't expect Ben to come into the room. Allison didn't stop being angry with him and said they were too different, so they should break up. However, Ben disagreed. In the evening, he complained to Pete about Allison, who forbids him everything. Pete said that family life is too hard. The guys decided to relax to take a break from everything. Debbie suggested the same to Allison. Since all of Ben's friends got conjunctivitis, they won't be able to join the guys. In the evening, Pete and Ben went to Las Vegas. Pete thinks his wife doesn't understand him and never supports, unlike Ben. The guys were having fun while the bouncer didn't let Debbie and Allison into the club. This caused Debbie to cause a scandal. The bouncer honestly told her that he wasn't letting them into the club because she was old and her sister was pregnant.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, the guys were watching the show and were happy that their women weren't around. Debbie cried, realizing that her youth was irretrievably gone. She didn't understand why she looked worse every year while her husband looked better. Ben and Pete got a hotel room to sober up. They were sure that Debbie and Allison would forgive them, but Pete felt unworthy of his wife. Besides, Debbie always wanted to be near him and didn't give him personal space. Soon it was the celebration of Debbie and Pete's daughter's 8th birthday. Ben knew that Allison was angry with him, but he still came to the party. Debbie and Pete made up and tried to keep their grievances to themselves, but Allison on the contrary wasn't ready to build a relationship with Ben. She believed that their views on life were too different. Also, Allison didn't want to repeat the sister's fate, who had to devote her entire life to her husband and family. Allison wasn't ready to give up her life plans and suggested to Ben that they stay just friends. Learning that Pete had told Debbie and Allison about Las Vegas, Ben called him a blabbermouth and a bad husband. Despite her pregnancy, Allison continued to work as a journalist. It was getting harder for her every time. In desperation, Ben turned to the father for advice. However, his father had been married 3 times, so he was a bad advisor in this situation. Soon Ben found a permanent job and rented a separate apartment, moving out from his friends. Meanwhile, Allison prepared herself for the fact that she would have to become a single mother. Ben bought everything necessary for the baby and furnished a nursery in his new apartment. The boss called Allison for a talk. She didn't expect to hear good news. It turned out that many celebrities liked the pregnant journalist. Now Allison will be interviewing pregnant celebrities. Debbie and Pete are going on vacation with their children for a few days. Allison is left alone at home. At some point, she felt that she was having contractions. At this time, Ben was reading manuals for young fathers. The friends invited him to a club, but he declined. Packing essential items, Allison called the doctor, but he wasn't at the hospital. Allison panicked and called Ben, asking him to come urgently. When Ben arrived at Allison's house, he was surprised to find her in the bathtub. She said she wanted to relax so that the baby wouldn't be born in a stressful environment. Ben called the hospital and was able to get the doctor's number, but it turned out that he wouldn't be back in town for 3 more days. Ben promised Allison that everything would be all right and took her to the maternity hospital. They were taken to a ward. Allison said she wanted to give birth naturally, without medication. Ben's friends also came to the hospital to support the couple. Meanwhile, Allison experienced some complications. Dr. Cooney said that urgent measures needed to be taken to ensure the baby was born healthy. Allison asked Ben's forgiveness for not trusting him. But from now on, the couple decided to overcome all problems together. Debbie and Pete immediately went to the hospital as soon as they heard that Allison was giving birth. Ben asked Debbie to leave him alone with Allison. At first she was shocked by such audacity, but then realized it was for the best. Allison realized that natural childbirth was much more terrible than she had imagined. Ben's friends heard her screams from the hallway. When Jay entered the ward out of curiosity, he was horrified by what he saw. Finally, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Upon seeing her niece, Debbie couldn't hold back her tears. The friends congratulated Ben, who had now become a father. While Allison slept, Ben took care of their daughter. A few days later they were discharged from the hospital. Ben was taking the beloved and daughter to his apartment. Now everything would be all right.